What's going on YouTube? The Apophis here, and welcome back to my channel. Today's gameplay is a little more kill confirmed. I'm trying to branch out and play some things a little different than Domination. I know everybody plays Dom, so I'm trying to change it up, and I'm definitely not a kill confirmed player, but this game I do okay. So stick around. If you don't care about the gameplay, then just hang out for my voice. I think today's topic is very important, especially because a lot of us that watch YouTube videos are commentators ourselves. And aside from that, if you're not a YouTube commentator, this will help you because the other majority of us are students of some kind, and we're going to be taking some kind of public speaking class at some point in our future or currently. So, hang out, and maybe some of the things that I have to say in this commentary, because it is going to be about public speaking, will come into play, and they might help you out later on in the future. So before I get really wrapped into this, I want to give you guys a little bit of my credentials for public speaking, because it's very easy for you to go, well, who the hell is this guy sitting behind the computer and talking over this video? Why should he talk to me about public speaking? Well, if you follow my channel, you'll know that recently, about 2 months ago, I won a public speaking competition at my college. So for those of you who don't know, I'm 26. I did military service, and now that I'm out of the military, I'm attending college. So yeah, I'm a little old for school, but is anybody ever really too old for school? Like, you can never learn enough. So here I am in college, and public speaking is one of the classes that I had to take. Now, aside from just a public speaking class in college, I've done a lot of speaking in front of people. Well, during my time in the Marine Corps at age 18, age 19, they threw me in front of 200 to 300 Marines and told me to teach classes on my weapon systems and things of that nature. So for me, that was a big shock. Like, I had taken a couple speaking classes in high school, but nothing to really prepare me to brief people or give people periods of instruction that could make or break somebody's life in a pinch. So it was kind of stressful for me. Man, I should have just bugged out. I don't know why I tried to stand that gunfight. Anyway, it was pretty stressful for me because of the weight of the presentations that I had to give. So I had no choice but to find a way to get past it and deliver my information accurately and concisely to a point where people would still pay attention and they would gain what they needed to gain out of it. Please bear with me. I know a lot of my deaths come early in this game. I settle into a groove, so just hang out. Alright, so first and foremost, a big thing that was taught to me when I was in high school was try to eliminate saying If you get to a point where you're going to say and I know I still do it, it's a very, very hard habit to break because it flows naturally. If you get to a point, though, where you feel the need to say just take a breath, right? Nobody's going to notice you taking this extra breath, and it's going to alleviate you saying I don't know if alleviate was the right word, but I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, it's gonna eliminate the there we go, eliminates better. Now, another thing, a lot of people are like, well, what should I do with my hands? My hands are the big thing that really throw me off with public speaking. Well, let me put it this way. If you're on the telephone and you talk with your hands, you wave your hands around a lot when you're talking on the phone, then use your hands. Because the big thing that you don't want to end up doing is looking unnatural. You don't want to sit there with your hands folded in front of you if you're an exuberant person and you like to talk with your hands. If you like to talk with your hands, talk with your hands. Just don't go crazy overboard with it. Keep it modest. Like, don't flail. But it's okay to open your hands and make gestures and things like that. Like, I'm doing it right now as I talk, although you can't see it. But I'm not doing it to a point where it would take away from the presentation that I'm giving you. Another thing, if you're a person that doesn't talk with your hands, okay, just, hold one thumb, like take your left hand and wrap it around your right thumb and just fold your hands neatly and put them in front of you. Now, the only problem with this is it could give the impression that you're closed off. So even if you're somebody that doesn't talk with your hands, try to use them a little bit. Like, if the thing is important, if your topic or your point is very key to your speech, maybe open your hands a little and make them inviting. Now, that same advice can go to somebody that does use their hands. We're going to back up a little bit here. If you are somebody that uses your hands, try holding them on occasion just so you're not always flailing. I hope that little tidbit makes sense about your hands. Now, another thing. Excuse me. Another thing, and I took this from Woodysgamertag, actually. He talks a lot about job interviews and stuff in his Mail Mondays because that's a common question he gets. And he said something one time in a response. I wish I remembered the video because I would definitely link it, but I will link his channel to give him credit. See, I did it right there. I should have just breathed. Anyway, we're all human. We all make mistakes. The one thing he says is when you go into a job interview, you have to treat yourself like you're the solution to a problem. Well, the same thing can translate over to public speaking. When you get ready to get up and get in front of your peers to speak, it is very, very common and very, very acceptable to be nervous, right? A lot of people don't have the experience. So it's only natural that you're nervous because you're worried about what people are going to think, say, or do. Well, a good way to help you with this whole nervousness is to know that you are the solution to their problem. You have information that you're about to deliver to your audience that they don't have. And without you, they wouldn't have this information. And keep it in your mind that this information is vital. Without this information, they cannot go on living. Okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to make you a little less nervous because you know that you're important. The other thing to keep in mind with your audience, like, yeah, if it's in a classroom setting, they're forced to listen to you, right? Fair enough. But keep in mind, a good majority of the people in your audience want to hear what you have to say. There's nothing to be nervous about. They want to know what you're going to say. They want to know what your topic is. They want to hear it. Okay, and the other thing is, especially if you're in a classroom setting, you're not the only one that's going to be nervous. This is a big thing that I told everybody in my class because they were all like, how are you so fluid? How are you so smooth? You don't look nervous at all. And that's because, quite honestly, I wasn't nervous at all. But that's because I knew that everybody else was going to be nervous too. That was a big chunk of it for me, kind of. I've got a lot of other experience with public speaking, but knowing that if I was nervous, I'm not some anomaly, helps to settle your nerves. And the last thing I can say about being nervous is if you go in for your presentation or you go in for your speech and you just have fun with it, just go up there and have a good time. Even if it's a serious topic like abortion or legalizing drugs or anything of that nature, even if it's not a fun topic, you can still have fun with your speech, right? I know not everybody is a performer. Not everybody likes to talk. Not everybody is open and outgoing, but you can still have fun with it some way, somehow. So what you need to do is you need to come up with the way that's going to make you fun. Or that's going to make it fun for you. A couple examples of this for me, I had one bad speech during my last semester, and it's because I took it way too serious and I didn't have fun with it. But my first speech was on Monopoly. How fun can Monopoly be? Well, not really, right? So what I did is I took all the fun versions of Monopoly and I talked about those. Or when it came to talking about how much money is in Monopoly, I didn't talk about Monopoly money. I talked about how much money like Hasbro has made off of Monopoly. And I used pictures in my presentation of stacks of money. Or I talked about, they've made $5 billion since, Monopoly has started. And I asked everybody, who's going to walk away from $5 billion? Not me. And if you are, here's the door. And I pointed to the door. See, I used my hands. I made it a little fun. Kind of threw in a subtle joke. Who would walk away from that, right? That's kind of a subtle joke. Bam. And it kind of made it more fun. The speech I did bad on was one where I was trying to convey that just because somebody is religious doesn't make them a good person. Now, I wasn't arguing for or against religion, and you're never going to hear me argue that on my channel, but it wasn't fun for me because I couldn't find a way to make it fun. I was more angry than anything during the speech, and it really reflected in my grade. Now, the last speech that I did that I had a really good time with is I did a haunted place in the area where I live. Well, whether or not you believe in ghosts, that's a moot point. But the haunted story, I went in there and I talked with this crazy voice because it didn't matter. I put on a show. I decided I'm going to go in there, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to talk. Everybody said I sounded like Batman when I did it. Okay, so I went in there and I told it spooky. Like I told it like I was telling a ghost story. I didn't really tell the ghost story. I talked more about the location, but the delivery was that of a ghost story. So that's one of the ways that I made it fun for me. And then we had to do like an impromptu, and I randomly drew the topic of Facebook. So instead of being serious about Facebook, I ranted about how people post stupid pictures or make stupid status comments like drunk driving, YOLO, stuff like that. And I also talked about how social media has limited our ability to communicate because we're so used to texting and typing that we don't talk much. And the last thing, if you're really struggling with public speaking, that I can suggest to everybody, and I've done this, I've sold health and life insurance door to door, as well as kitchen knives door to door. Okay, if you're in a field where your public speaking is going to be your thing, go get a sales job. Don't really do it for the money, but what it's going to do for you is it's going to give you the ability to be comfortable in front of people, and most importantly, it's going to give you the ability to read your audience. So even if you're not doing it for money, take on a sales job. It'll make a world of difference. Alright guys, if you like what you heard or saw, do me a huge favor, click the like button. If you want more of this, go ahead and click subscribe. There's 2 videos on the screen, and I really greatly appreciate you guys all stopping by to listen to this commentary, and I really hope that throughout it you gain something, at least one tip, one trick, one something to help you with whatever public speaking class or profession, or just even your YouTube commentating that you have. So, thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope every single one of you guys has a great day. Follow me on Twitter, and maybe we'll play together. Thanks.